morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we're here to ask, why would you do that? Yeah, you see, ladies and gentlemen, they've gone and reprinted a card with a different name, and I think it's fair to say that they've gone and reprinted it a little bit early. We've also got a brand new supporter card we're going to be looking at in this video as well, but we do need to start off with the absolutely appalling Echo Horn. You see, ladies and gentlemen, in our translation here comes from the lovely Antoine Boulet, but Echo Horn, it's target whistle. Like, it's blatantly just target whistle. Now, some of you might be looking at this and going, well, hang on a second, Wassy. I don't see a huge problem here. I was playing when Target Whistle was around, and Target Whistle was a decent little card that got teched into a bunch of decks, but come on, it wasn't exactly a game-breaking card, and I'm going to say, yeah, well, ADP wasn't around last time we had Target Whistle. Now, the only saving grace here is that this is Matchless Fighters Sword and Shield 5A in Japan, which is going to be in our Sword and Shield 6, which is coming out on June the 18th, and end of August, beginning of September, we're going to get a rotation, which is going to remove the scourge that is ADP from Standard. Not expanded, but having said that, we've already got Target Whistle in expanded already, so that's fine. The thing is, we are going to have that 2 to 3 month gap where this new card, this Echo Horn, and ADP are both legal. And I don't think I'm okay with this, ladies and gentlemen. So what it does is it allows you to look in your opponent's discard pile, find a basic Pokemon, and put it onto your opponent's bench. And incidentally, that is exactly what Target Whistle did. It put a basic Pokemon from your opponent's discard pile onto his or her bench. The thing is, Arceus and Alga and Palkia has got that Altered Creation GX attack, which says that for the rest of the game, all of your Pokemon do an extra 30 damage, and if you paid with a metal and a water, and you will have, you get to take an extra prize every time you take a KO for the rest of the game. Well, you see, ladies and gentlemen, this is a problem with Target Whistle, because a lot of the time, what ADP really want to do is they want to hunt down your cards like Dedenne and Crobat, these fairly weak 2-prize Pokemon that turn into 3-prize Pokemon after using Altered Creation. And a lot of the time, the way that ADP actually wins is basically by just using Boss's Orders to drag 2 of them up on consecutive turns, and it's literally Altered Creation, Boss's Orders of Crobat or Dedenne, Boss's Orders of Crobat or Dedenne, hey, that's 6 prizes I've won. So when you're playing against an ADP deck, one of the things you are trying to do very, very carefully here is not bench those Pokemon unless you absolutely have to. Because when you bench them, you put those easy prizes on the field for ADP. And of course, one of the best ways to keep those cards away from ADP are just to discard them. So you play something like a Quick Ball, well, this is your option for what you discard. Or you play a Professor's Research without having benched them, but it's alright, they go in the discard. Now, just in case ADP wasn't good enough anyway, you've gone and reprinted this, so if you do discard your Crobat, the ADP player can just play Echo Horn, bring it back, Boss's Orders, and KO. And we've all seen these ADP decks, right? They are hilariously consistent. They are really not going to struggle very much at all using things like this to grab your Pokemon back, and this can be a huge problem. And we've seen that you can have this new build where you use Rusted Sword, the one from Shining Fates that lets Zash and V do an extra 30 damage, and, you know, really build up to bigger attacks. Now Zash is doing 290. But now we got a whole different version of the deck where we go, who needs that? I am just going to prey on their weak Pokemon. And even if your opponent only plays one Crobat, you can KO it and then just Echo it Horn right back again. and KO it again. Now, of course, it's not just for ADP. One of the things I play in my Excadrill deck is a ridiculous amount of gusting, because Excadrill gets really easy one-hit KOs on Crobat and Dedenne. So I play Great Catcher and I play a bunch of Boss's Orders and a bunch of Power Pad to get back my bunch of Boss's Orders. Well, in a deck like that, it's actually going to be amazing, because when I'm facing down something like an ADP that I can't KO, being able to bring a Crobat onto the bench and then gust and KO it is amazing, although with Great Catcher, Dedenne is the better option the vast majority of the time. So, yes, it's great for ADP decks, and they are clearly the ones that are going to be able to take the best advantage of it, but things like Excadrill will work here as well. Of course, while we're talking extra prizes, would this be a good time to talk Stoutland? Yeah, Stoutland seems like a really, really good candidate for this, and Stoutland will survive the rotation. You see, Stoutland for free energy does 40 damage, but if you KO a basic Pokemon, all of a sudden you take an extra prize. Well, there aren't always that many basic Pokemon you can KO with Stoutland, but what you're going to try and do is get a powerful colorless energy, so you go up to 60 damage, and then you're going to try and get a Vitality Band to go up to 70 damage, so all things like Jirachi, Evolving Basics, etc., they're all going down. Well, now you can just keep using Echo Horn to get little tiny basics back, and have Stoutland KO them over and over again. If you think that Stoutland Echo Horn is not going to be an archetype when this comes out, I believe you might be in a little bit of denial there. Again, I could be wrong about this, but I look at this and I go, ADP, and then I go, nah, everyone's playing ADP. Stoutland. This is clearly a great option. I mean, there are basically two types of decks, right, that are going to love this. Decks that take extra prizes, ADP, Stoutland, etc., and decks that are really efficient but struggle to hit huge numbers, Excadrill. This is going to be a great card. I know we've had it before and it wasn't, but I'm still giving it 5 Wassies. It looks amazing. I should mention that technically this is actually a Rapid Strike card, and it is important to note that it's a Rapid Strike card. The one real important thing here is that if you are playing a Rapid Strike deck, you may well be playing Octillery, and once during your turn, Octillery lets you search for a Rapid Strike card. Oh, look. This can be searched out. It can be played by anyone. The fact that it's a Rapid Strike card is really only relevant at the moment for Octillery, but it does mean the Rapid Strike decks are going to have a whale of a time with this. It looks kind of redonk. Oh yeah, and we're also getting Brawly. Now this is kind of cool, because we've not actually had a Brawly card in the Pokemon TCG before. This is the first time that Brawly's actually made its way into the trading card game, which is kind of lovely. That's quite nice. The closest we've had, there was a gym badge promo over in Japan, one print of which, and there were a bunch of prints, but one print of which did feature Brawly. This is the closest we've ever actually gotten. So what does Brawly do? Well, Brawly lets you search your deck for free Rapid Strike Pokemon, just so long as they're basic, and put them onto your bench. It is one of those. It is very much like, well, we've seen a bunch of these before, so Professor Oak's setting, or setup, I think it was actually translated as, that lets you get free basic Pokemon of different types and put them onto your bench. Or Professor Round's Lecture that let you get free Pokemon with 60 HP or less, although admittedly they did go into your hand, not onto your bench, so coming into play abilities would work, where they won't work here, unfortunately, but still. Or Pokemaniac, which let you search for free Pokemon with a retreat cost of exactly 4 basic Pokemon and put them into your hand. Now, this goes to your bench, not your hand. It's decent for setting up your Rapid Strike Pokemon. It's actually weirdly similar to the Sobble that I showed you in the previous video, a recent video, something like that, because that also lets you search for free basic Rapid Strike Pokemon and put them onto your bench. Are we going to want to use this? I'm not sure. The thing is, cards like Pokemaniac and Professor Oak's setup saw almost no play. Professor Elm's research did see a little play, but only, or Professor Elm's lecture, sorry, but only really in decks where, you were playing, say, Pidgeotto, where you had an evolved Pokemon that also had 60 HP or less. They're the kind of decks that would want to use it. I mean, it will get you your Remoraid to evolve into your Octillery, and it will get you your Sobble, which can then be used to get your other basics. I just don't know if I would want to play this on the first turn over something like Professor's Research, and I don't think I would. It's a nice little option for getting your basic Rapid Strike Pokemon out, but I think we've got good enough supporters at the moment and consistent enough decks that I'm just not getting terribly excited about it. I look at this as a really nice option and as a fun supporter that could end up making our decks more consistent. But unless I've got a really good turn 1 attacking option, I think most of the time I'd rather just play my regular supporter, use a Quick Ball for a Sobble, and then use Sobble to get my Rapid Strike basic Pokemon. I could be wrong about this, and it's clearly a good option, and it's clearly nice for getting your basics. My argument against it isn't that it's not a good card, it's that we've actually got some pretty nice supporters at the moment, and I'd rather play one of them than use Brawly. Plus, you end up in a super awkward situation where you can essentially play it really well turn 1, turn 1 going second, because it gets your basics and it's great, so you want to kind of play 4 of them to maximize your chances of getting it turn 1, but then you're not really going to want to use it for the rest of the game, so you don't want to play 4 of them. I will say that if you're playing Octillery, remember this is a Rapid Strike card and can be searched out using Octillery, so maybe playing 1 copy so you can search it out of Octillery if you need to, that might be a pretty nice option, but I don't necessarily think you're going to want it for much more than that, though of course, I could very much be wrong. Let's go ahead and give this between 3 and 4 Wassies. I could see it as a one-of in a lot of Rapid Strike decks, and I could see some people playing it, but I don't think it's going to turn into an every deck staple. But I'd like to know what you think both about Echo Horn, which really does look like it could end up being a problem, and what you think about Brawly, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.